It's with absolute pleasure that I'm going to introduce Pace Morby up to the stage in just a minute. Pace Morby, if you don't know, he has built a massive community. He is the host of A&E's show Triple Digit Flip. That's where I first kind of tracked with him. And then he did a thing with Grant Cardone. I think I talked to you about this, but you guys did like an hour-and-a-half thing with Grant Cardone. And I remember Grant Cardone going, wait a minute, I've been doing this 35 years. You're telling me you could do that? And he's like, yeah. And you're telling me you could do this? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, holy moly, we could do huge things. He's like, I know. That's what I've been trying to say, right? And so that's when I really started tracking with Pace. And then Brent had him speak in Cabo last year. And he spoke for a couple hours. And it was just like, I was hanging on every word. And I'm like, I got to get this guy to Salem. I got to get this guy to my people and check this out. So nationally recognized finance expert who built a $450 million portfolio, probably bigger because it changes daily. He's founder of one of the largest real estate communities on the planet, his sub-2 community. He'll tell you the story of the peace sign, I'm sure. But he's become one of my favorite dudes. And it's not because he's cool. It's because of the change that he's making in people's lives. He literally, if you listen for the next, and thank you for giving us 60 minutes of your time, and he's literally flying home to his kids tonight. This is Pace in a nutshell. He goes, bro, I love you, but I have to catch a plane at 5:30 because I promised my family I will be with my kids and my wife every single night. Hats off to you for that, brother. I love you. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Guys, my name is Pace Morby. I love real estate so much, and I know I'm in a room predominantly all with real estate agents, and so I'll try and make my messaging more about real estate agents. Brent Gove and I have become really good friends. We get to hang out with Tony Robbins at his, Dean Graziosi and all these cool people. But I love being in rooms like this because this is where real change actually happens. Randy, thank you for inviting me here. I'm so grateful to be here, and new friends all the time when I hang out with the EXP crew. Transaction coordination. Where are my transaction coordinators, the sponsors? Okay, let me tell you guys something about the sponsor. I don't know you guys specifically. I know that we were kind of working on Invitation Homes and American Homes Rent, kind of the same thing. Two different sides of the coin. I was a contractor while you guys were coordinating and wiring hundreds of millions of dollars and doing all sorts of cool things. So it's funny to see where we both go, which is awesome. Transaction coordination changed my freaking life. And you guys could not overstate this. And while I was sitting here listening to you, I'm sitting here going, this sponsor is killing it on stage, but I still don't think people understand how powerful a transaction coordination team can actually be. So for me, I started in real estate as a contractor. I had this lady that came and changed my life. She was a mentor of mine. She yelled at me and told me, and this kind of goes for a lot of real estate agents in here. This lady told me she was flipping she was a house flipper. I was a contractor. She hires me. And on the third house, she says, why are you a contractor? And I said, well, because I'm good at it. I show up on time, I hit budgets, I communicate. She goes, exactly, you're not a contractor. You need to do anything about being a contractor. You need to be a real estate investor. You need to own the real estate. I was like, but I don't know how. I don't know where the money comes from. All the excuses that everybody has. Anyway, she changes my life, and I started out in the real estate game with off-market. So I didn't know I could do deals with real estate agents. For the first 6 years in the business, I had no idea I could do deals with agents. I was doing mailers directly to sellers, and I was going into sellers' homes, and I was buying them off-market. The agents that they tried to list with had already been there. The sellers needed their house done in 7 days, and I was the only guy who could solve that problem. So that's where I started, driving around in my Prius. And here's what would happen. I would spend 20 grand a month, okay, on direct mail, 20 grand a month, and then I'd spend another $20,000 a month on PPC, right, pay-per-click, to get people to call me. So I'm $40,000 in marketing. Now, I learned way better marketing strategies, but $40,000 a month. And so I would pay that money to get in people's living rooms and ultimately get a contract on their house. Now, of course, I would flip some of them. I would put some in my portfolio, but I would wholesale a lot of them as well. And one day my wife goes, dude, where are all your contracts? I'm like, they're in the backseat of my car. I was just getting contracts, throwing them in the backseat of my car, and I go, I'll take them to escrow in a week. I'll just drop them all off. I'll take all 5 contracts from this week and just drop them off at Empire, whatever, right? And my wife is like, okay, let's go look at your numbers. And she would look at my numbers, and I was doing 15 contracts on average per month, but only 6 of them were actually closing. Why? Because the seller would call, somebody would call, and I wouldn't get back to them, and then they would just go and sign with another wholesaler, and before I even knew, they'd already closed escrow, and I had no ability to go and sign a memorandum, do nothing. I had no ability to do anything because I wasn't following up. I bring a transaction coordinator in my life. Not only did I go from 15 contracts to 15 closes every single month, same ad spend, I then also had the ability to actually focus on my superpower, which is communicating with sellers and building rapport and trust and finding a solution for people that other people can find. My transaction coordinator did that for me. And the hardest thing that you guys will have to do as a sponsor is convincing people to spend money to grow their business. And you did a hell of a job on stage today. I just want to say that. Great job. By the way, if you ever have sponsors, have me come up after them. I'll always prop them up one more time. Okay, so a couple of things I would want agents in this room to know. I do creative finance. I focus on creative finance because there is such an abundance of opportunity in creative finance. It's overwhelming. I drive from Portland to Salem, and I'm sitting there in the car, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I could make $1 million in every single one of these zip codes in like a week. There's so much opportunity. Especially right now, there's tremendous opportunity. So first thing I would want agents to do. How many agents get sick and tired of the people that learn from me how to cold call the hell out of you on your listings? Be honest, come on. No, okay, then that means you don't have any listings. Or I need to try harder to get them to call you. The people that I teach are people that primarily are like, I am not in a situation that I could be an agent. They're actually intimidated by agents. Most of the people that come to learn from me. Now, I have a tremendous amount of agents in my community, but most of them are like, I'm afraid of agents. I was too, because you guys have a license, and that's scary. Just like when you call an attorney for the first time, like, oh my gosh, I'm calling an attorney, right? The first thing I would do if I was a real estate agent is I would start thinking myself as not a licensed real estate agent. I would start thinking of myself as a licensed investor. Because the first thing that's going to happen, at least in my mind, is I start talking to real estate agents, and they say stuff like, man, I'm doing all these listings, and I'm grinding, I'm doing this. Should I build a team? What should I do? And I go, how big is your portfolio? Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I have, let's just say, one RV park, and I'll get into RV parks in a little bit. Let's say I have one RV park. I buy it with no money down. I'll tell you where to find them as well. Wendy, where's Wendy? Are you Wendy in here? Oh, right here. She's right here. Wendy, stand up. You just got your first RV park, correct? How long did it take for you to get your first RV park? 4.5 weeks. Okay, cool. And you're going to get involved in that deal, own that deal, and you're not going to have any money out of pocket, correct? Okay, cool. No, you did the freaking work, okay? So I look at my average RV park that I own, and I'll do RV parks because they're really simple, and I also love them because I don't have to manage them. The people that manage my RV parks live at the freaking RV park. They love the RV park more than I do. They live there. They get free rent, right? My maintenance guys and the two people that run every park. The average one nets in my pocket, sushi money as I call it, I can buy sushi with it, is $13,000 a month. Okay, so how many listings does that make it so I don't have to go chase that month? Okay, because I know there's a number. I know every single agent has a number in their mind of like, I need to go and hit this number this year. And you're chasing it with listings. If you had one RV park, it's $180,000 a year you'll never have to worry about ever again. Not only do you have that cash flow coming in, but you also have a future appreciation. What's an asset class that's going to be protected in the future? Affordable housing. Guess what people are doing? The people are traveling. They realized 5 years ago, holy crap, I can work anywhere on a laptop, and I can do anything from anywhere. And guess what happened to RV parks? They blew the freak up. And guess what else is really cool is that RV parks are owned primarily by who? Boomers. Sorry if there's any boomers in here. You don't like being called a boomer. But they are primarily owned by people that are retiring. They're accidental landlords, okay? So there's 17,000 RV parks. I don't want to turn this into all RV park stuff, but there's 17,000 RV parks, and only about 1,200 of them are owned by private equity. The rest of those, 15,000 or more, are owned by individual single owners that are all getting to a point where like, I got to retire. They bought it because their CPA told them to buy it, and now they're saying, I want to retire, and I want to get out of the game, okay? The problem is I think a lot of people assume the most incorrect information is that I got to have money, I got to have credit, I got to have, W-2 income to go buy this stuff. I got to go manage these things. This is scary. My agent friends, oh my word, the happiest agents I see are the ones that don't need to be agents but choose to be agents. Meaning, you're not burned out. You're excited. You're pumped up every single day, and you can see opportunities that other people cannot see. What I see with real estate agents is they have what we call commission breath. Everything, every deal, every seller, everything comes down to what's my commission, what's my fee, what's my this, whereas I have never once thought that because I've never been a licensed agent. I think, how would I help the seller get the most amount of money possible, and how do I either own this or find somebody else to own this with a creative finance solution? So I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of deals. Anybody in here is the first time you've ever heard me speak? Oh, holy shnikes. I'm like skipping over so many things because I thought you guys are like kind of already know who I was. I'm so sorry. Should I skip over stuff or should we go back through it? Let's skip. We're going to skip. I mean, why not, right? Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go to like some cool deals. All right, let's go. Let's pop up on the screen if you don't mind. Oh, I'm on the other screen. Okay, cool. So this is me. 15, 16 years ago, contractor building houses for other people. Had a lady come in and stop me, and her name's Bethany. Changed my life. And let's see. This is like in my house. I got to do this whole thing. It only wants me to go forward. That's what it is. Okay, cool. All right, so I realized I was just trading time for money. This was my first mentor. At the time, I was a blue-collar guy. I didn't believe in mentorship. I believed, like, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I'm going to figure it out myself. Like, how dare you tell me I need to pay somebody for a mentorship? Are you kidding me? I will throw all the money in my bank account as a mentorship now. I will travel all over the world to meet the people that are doing the thing and get me the cheat code. But this lady changed my freaking life. She was so incredible. She was actually kind of a biatch, to be honest. But she was like the best possible one that I needed. I needed this lady to just shake it up and like yell at me. She told me in the first conversation I had with her, she was telling me, you need to get into real estate investing. She told me that you are a simple Google search away from being replaced. Well, guess what, real estate agents? So are you. You're a simple Google search away from being replaced. You own nothing. You own nothing. Most real estate agents own nothing, and that should scare the shiz out of you that you own nothing. That scared me. I was like, oh. She said, you don't own a business. You're a service provider to my business. And I go, no, because I was convinced as a contractor that I was in real estate. Why? Because I touched houses, and I ordered sheetrock, and I told the tile guys what to do. I was convinced that I was in real estate. She said, is a mobile notary in real estate? I go, no. She goes, okay, is a real estate agent in real estate? She's a real estate agent, by the way. And she says, no, we're not. We service the people who are in real estate. We are service providers. We are not the owners. We are simply the people servicing the people who are in real estate. And I was like, holy moly, are you in real estate? She goes, I own this house. Of course I'm in real estate. She really shifted my mind around stop trading time for money. It was a scary conversation because I was just in the process of having babies and doing all that kind of stuff. Okay, now, what's cool is like these are all the strategies I do. I actually think I'm going to talk about a Morby Method deal today because Desiree, where are you at? You asked me a question in the break, and I wanted to bring you up here. There's Desiree. I'll bring you up in a little bit, okay? You had such a great question about a multifamily deal. Okay. I want to get to like some deal structuring to kind of show you guys what I do. Oh, this is perfect. Can I go back? Perfect. Okay, cool. Here's what real estate investors do. We love real estate agents that are inept. We love them. We love them. We love expired listings because you get fired, and guess who's the hero? Right, think about this. People go, oh, let's call expired listings. Your broker says, go call expired listings. Okay, cool. So if I'm an agent who just got fired because the seller, doesn't matter what the reason was, the seller could be out of their freaking mind on their price, right? And you just want that listing, so you go get it. And you try and tell the seller, hey, it's not going to sell for that, it's not going to sell for that, it's not going to sell for that, but you still take the listing. What ends up happening, do you know how many freaking expired listings pop up in the United States every single month? 300,000 a month. That means 300,000 real estate agents 6 months prior took a listing they shouldn't have taken. Or they should have hammered their client way harder and said, no, I'm not going to take your freaking listing. This is crazy. Or they should have learned creative finance. And this house I'm going to tell you about is exactly how I probably would say 20% of my deals have gone. I call a real estate agent. I would never bother a real estate on day one. Do you guys know your average days on market in your market? 60? Cool. So I would never, what market are you in? Okay, cool. I would never call you until day 61 because I know the average days on market are 60. Like, why would I bother you? As a real estate investor, that's annoying. You don't want me to freaking call you up until day 60. At day 60, maybe you'll start having a conversation with me to the point where you should just put me in your back pocket and hold me till day 90. I know that. The people that are calling you before that, you should be like, hey, you should go watch Pace Morby's YouTube channel. He tells you don't bother me until my average days on market are up. So what I do with these real estate agents, and this actual house is a real story, and I've got thousands of these stories. Call the agent. This lady's name was Stephanie. And Stephanie, I call her up and I say, hey, Stephanie, looks like the house has been on the market for 100 days. Have you talked to your client about maybe letting somebody take over their mortgage? Right? Subject 2. She says, no, my broker won't allow that to happen. Okay, cool. Great. So do you mind if I follow up? She goes, nothing's going to change. Please don't call me back. So what do? I call back in 20 days. Hey, has anything happened? And I'm not annoying. I know I'm talking fast right now because I want to get a lot in today without dilly-dallying, but I'll talk normal. And I call her back 20 days later. Hey, how's it going? Can I just send you an offer that you can put in your back pocket? Pace, I already told you my client doesn't want to do it. My broker won't allow it. Okay, great. What do I do again? I do this all the way until day 180. What does 180 mean? That's the final day. And you would think that real estate agents sitting there for 6 freaking months that have been grinding on this listing, trying to get this thing sold, would be like, can we just sit down and you explain this thing to me? Because I've been lying to you and telling you that my broker won't allow it, but I actually don't want to sound stupid because I'm licensed and I don't want to sound stupid. That is actually the number one reason why agents don't do creative finance deals is because they don't know and they don't want to act like they don't know. And so Steph, what does she say? Notice I call her Steph now. Okay? Stephanie says, no, I already told you my clients no. And I go, okay, sounds good. So what do I do? 3 days later. Guess what? I don't have access to the MLS, guys. Our tools are better than yours. Your MLS sucks. It's dog shit. Us real estate investors, our tools are like $80 a year, and they're 1,000 times better than your MLS. Our tools smoke your MLS. I can see rates, what they paid for it. I can see what color shirt the freaking seller wore yesterday. It's crazy. We know more than you guys do. So when I call Stephanie, I know what day she bought it for, or what day her seller bought it, what his rate was. It's a VA loan. I know exactly who his mortgage officer was. I know everything. So when I look at the house, I go, dude, this guy bought this property in 2022 when rates were killer. He got a 1.9% VA loan, and he put no money down. So in 2023, how much equity does this man have? 0 equity. So she has this thing on the market. She keeps reducing to the price, and she reduces the price to the point where now he's going to have to write a check for $20,000 to get rid of the house. Think that's going on somewhere in the market right now? Everywhere. Has that been going on the last couple of years? Everywhere. Everywhere. It is overwhelming. The thing is, I have a community of 25,000 people, and we can't even touch how many opportunities there are. It is overwhelming. If 300,000 real estate agents are getting fired every single month from expired listings, there are an overwhelming amount of opportunity. Oh my gosh. So what do? I call Bob. Bob's the seller. And I say, hey, Bob, my name is Pace. I'm just wondering, what did you not like about my offer about taking over the mortgage? What do you think Bob's answer was? You would take over my mortgage? How does that work? Do I have to pay you? He was told multiple times by Stephanie that if they sold the house for the price that it's at right now, he was going to have to come to the closing for $10,000. So when I told him, hey, I can take over your rate, I can take over your mortgage, he goes, dude, okay, great, and I don't have to pay you any money? So what do I do? And now why do I call Stephanie Steph? Because I close the deal, I buy it subject to, we go through a title company, we get title insurance, we use a closing attorney in the appropriate states. Yes, it's legal in all 50 states plus Puerto Rico. Okay? And I go through, a week later, I call Stephanie up and I say, hey, Stephanie, I've got $2,500 waiting for you at escrow. I closed the deal on 4101 West Flower Street. I bought it subject to. What do you mean? I said, I've got $2,500 for you. I'm going to release it for you on the next deal that we do together. because I want to show you that this is legal, and I want to show you that I want to continue to do work with you. Stephanie and I have now done 21 deals together in the last 20 months. And what does she do? She calls expired listings differently now. What she does is she calls expired listings and says, hi, I'm a real estate agent, but I actually represent a buyer that would like to make an offer today. Think about the difference if you're a real estate agent calling a seller who just fired their client, and you're saying, I have an offer. It's going to be a little bit non-traditional offer, but I have a full price offer. It's either going to be seller finance, or they're going to ask you to let them take over payments. Now, are your clients at $5 million going to take these offers? Most of your clients are not. Okay, these are big homes, and by the way, most of the buyers that I have don't want your homes. So not every house is going to fit. However, there are a lot of clients that are business owners like me that could never qualify for mortgages that your clients have to qualify to buy your $5 million homes, right? Because you have a lot of gangster clients, not like literal gangster clients, but you have a lot of really heavy hitter clients that make a lot of money, but they all say, I made $0 on my taxes. So they have really non-traditional mortgages they have to go and qualify for, et cetera. It's really hard. So there are really good opportunities, like my house. I have a ranch in Montana that I own. I bought it for $1 down, bought it for $4 million. And then I have a big house, 11,000 square foot house in Arizona. Same thing, no money down, took over a 2.9% rate, gave them full price. Now there's a reason behind every story. Why did this guy move out of his house? Why did this guy want to sell? There's bunnies. This is where our logo comes from, the bunnies. What's the problem? The problem is he found a girl. And he moved out of this house, and he moved into her house and started paying rent over there. Why? Because his agent says, well, the average days on market right now are 60, so I think I can sell the house in 60 days. Well, 6 months later, guess what she didn't look up? She didn't look at mortgage information. She didn't realize how much he owed. She didn't do a seller net sheet, none of that kind of stuff. And you guys think this is rare. It's not rare. We run into it every single day. Now, what could you do as an agent? First thing I would do as an agent is I would work with buyers like me. I buy deals like this, and I would have paid Stephanie a full commission on me buying that deal and taking over her seller's mortgage. I would have paid closing costs. We would have closed in 7 days, not 30, not 60, not 45. We don't have lender contingencies. We don't have stupid appraisals. We don't have any of that kind of stuff. Us buyers close in 7 days. Why? Because all I would have had to do is pay Stephanie's commissions and closing costs. I would have bought a house with a 1.9% interest rate for $20,000 down. Holy moly. Holy moly. There's so many amazing opportunities. So, oh, man, non-qualified. This is huge. I could spend so much time on this. I wish I had 3 hours with you guys. Let's see. Let's talk about some bigger deals. You know what I would do? Here's another thing I would do as an agent. Everybody in here is single family? Who's single family? Raise your hand. Who's not single family? Raise your hand. Meaning okay, so that means only one person's not single family. I should have just asked that question. Sorry. Okay, so this is a cheat code, and we talked about this a little bit in Cabo, but I think this is one of the biggest cheat codes that any real estate agent should be looking at. Instead of you guys going, oh, I'm going to go after commissions. Sorry, guys, I'm going to beat you up on the commissions. Because in 10 years, guess what you're still going to be thinking about? 15 years, guess what you're still going to be thinking about? Commissions. Commissions, commissions, commissions. Now, should you worry about commissions? Heck, yes, you should. But what I want you guys to walk away from today is I want you guys to write down this one phrase right here, wedge method. What you should be doing is going to people like me. This is a deal that I just recently closed, Dar Built RV Park. Okay? This thing nets $26,000 a month. I bought it for no money down. Seller is retiring. He's in oil town, and all the oil-filled production companies rent this thing out. They have like a lease for 4 years. Seller says, I'm done. I have the thing paid off. If you just pay me $15,000 monthly payment, I just want to walk away. I want to move closer to my grandkids. This is in the middle. If you look up the city, it's in freaking Kermit, Texas. Nobody in this room could point to Kermit, Texas. Have you guys been watching Landman, the TV show? That's in Kermit, Texas. Okay, so that's where this is. Middle of nowhere, just a bunch of oil rigs. So we buy this. How did I find this? I found this from a real estate agent that's like, hey, this guy wanted me to list this for him, but I know that he wants top dollar. And you told me about this wedge method thing that I could do. If I could convince the seller to do seller finance and sell this thing to you, could I carve myself like a little finder's fee? And I go, I'll give you 20%. I'll make you a 20% owner of this thing. So he gets me on the phone with the seller. I structure the deal. This thing nets in my pocket. Doesn't gross $26,000, it nets $26,000 a month. And if you're 20% owner with me, what's your check on that? It's $5,200 every month. Who runs it? I do. Who manages it? I do. Who does the accounting? I do. Who deals with the employees? I do. Who does the website? I do. Who does the marketing? I do. Where are you? And you know how many real estate investors come to my conferences? 4,000 or 5,000. You know what they say? Where can we find the agents that want to work with us? Right. They're in this freaking room, right? This is why Brent and Randy asked me to come speak to this room, because not only can you guys get paid significant amount of money, there's a lot of sub-2 and seller finance deals that you guys could make way more commissions on, but at the same time, you guys could be owners of these assets. And when I meet real estate agents, the number one thing they hear is like, well, I'm saving up money, I can start buying rentals. Guys, it is the most ironic thing, but I'm going to say something that's going to sound like it stings, but us real estate investors are no different. The most unqualified buyer to buy real estate is a real estate agent. Why? Your commissions are up and down, unreliable. Banks don't like you. They don't like me either. Isn't it ironic that we're the number one people in the real estate game and lenders don't like us? You should be owning your own properties on seller finance. You should be owning your own portfolio on seller finance. It shouldn't be just you going, I'm going to go save 30% down and wait for rates to go. What? Y'all are waiting for Jerome Powell so you can live your life? This seller gave us 2% seller finance last year. Who is getting 6 and 7% mortgages? That's crazy. Okay, that's a good one. Man, I wish I had more time. I want to actually get to Q&A. Yes, we buy other things with seller finance, cars, planes, all the things. This is a little plane I bought for my son. Land. Here's a cool one. This one's going to be huge for you guys. Huge. Who wants to build houses in here? Anybody want to build houses at some point in here? Okay, cool. For people that want to build houses, here's what we do. We go to the sellers. This is a seller in Whitman, just outside of Phoenix. Came in on a lead. Seller wanted too much money. Our CRM says seller wants 15 grand. The lots are probably worth 12. Well, they're worth 12 undeveloped. So I told the seller, I don't want to give you 12. We made an offer for 12. He said, I wouldn't do anything less than 15 per lot. Now, it's outside of outskirts, and it's 50 lots as well, so it's a big deal. And I call him up, and I said, hey, I'd like to give you $16,000 per lot. Now, what am I doing? Anybody have an understanding of what I'm doing here? Well, yeah, I'm getting him excited, but I'm also giving him future interest. And I'm saying, I'll give you $16,000 when I'm done building the houses and selling them. So what do? I then go get a mobile home manufacturer. They have a line of credit. And I got a builder who has a big line of credit as well. I became 30% partner. I made $1.8 million. The other partners made $1.8 million each as well. We just built 50 homes with other people's money. Seller got paid after I got my money from my buyer. So we put a house on the lot, sold them off. We got paid. Seller got his $16,000. Could you not go build land right now? Could you build car washes? Could you go... There's a builder in here. Where is he? He's making $10 million. Where's Glenn? Is it Glenn? Is he around? Glenn, over there. Okay, Glenn. The most expensive and hard thing to finance when you're building is going to be your land. Would you agree with that? Banks are harder on it because there's no tangible asset. It's just dirt. But if I came to you, you're a developer and you build, and I came to you and I said, hey, I have a parcel of land. It's 50 acres long. The seller will carry the note. And you can pay them after you've subdivided, after you've sold the lots, you can pay them, but they want 10% more than what today's value is once you develop. 2 seconds. And guess what? If I brought that to this builder right here, he would let me wedge in, and I could go to you and go, hey, can I get like 10% of the project with you? 2 seconds. But real estate agents are not thinking this way. Guys, I'm telling you, there is land like crazy. In fact, if you go to landwatch.com, this is how prevalent this is. Landwatch.com, you type in owner finance. There's 16,000 lots right now. The lots are all saying, we will sell to you on owner finance right now. Okay? It is crazy. What's the number one thing sellers want more than anything else? They want a high purchase price. And guess what happens? Everybody else is like, oh, this seller's out of their mind. When I get that lead, I'm like, hell yeah, give me that lead. Because I can structure it in a way the seller gets his number, but he gets his number after I get paid. A lot of these sellers don't really care. In fact, Her clients that are at $5 million price point, they'll sit and wait until they get their $5 million. This guy waited 4 years until he was literally getting offers at $12,000 a lot. He waited 4 years until he was like, I'm not budging. I'll wait. Cool. Give him $1,000 more. Give him 10% more. It is so hard to finance land and get banks to finance it. It's nearly impossible. You need the seller-to-seller finances. You can just get them on Land Watch, or you can call them. Man, I could go on about RV parks. I could go on about Airbnbs and co-living. Does anybody see the thing I did with the homeless lady just this last week? Okay, there's like 4. Isn't it crazy you could do the coolest thing on the planet, only 4 people know about it? You got to yell about it.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so I had a lady just emailed me April 9th of this year. She's a homeless lady in a women's shelter. She's emailing me on her broken little Nokia phone. She says, hey, I watch your YouTube channel, and I really just think I'd be an amazing case study, and I would do all the work that you tell me to do. I'm 59 years old. I've been on the streets for 4 years, and I have 30 more days until this shelter kicks me out. And I go, okay, great. By the way, guys, we just released the first YouTube video about this lady yesterday. Tearjerker. Anyway, I go, okay, great, and I'm reading the email. I go, oh, she's in Mesa. She's a mile away from me. So what I did is I spent 2 hours with her in my office, and I gave her a game plan. I go to work. 20 days later, she has a check for $5,000. She went and found a deal for me. I bought a deal, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, she makes $5,000. I drop her off at the bank we go to the title company. She's holding this check, and she's got this $5,000 check, and we go to the bank, and the bank, I go, you know what, Maddie, you go into the bank. I don't want to mess with your banking stuff. You go in there and do your own thing. She comes out. She goes, the bank doesn't think it's a real check. I'm like, those sons of bitches, don't they know what you had to overcome to get this? The whole, the story, I'm cutting out a lot of the story, but I go into the bank and I talk to the dude and he goes, hey, sir, he goes, Maddie, do I have permission to show him the screen? She's like, yeah, show him the screen. So he shows me the screen. Her bank account has been empty and negative for over 5 years. She hasn't had $1 in her bank account for 5 years. And I go, I would do the same thing. I would assume the check is bad. So I had him call the title company. They verified the check was real. They deposit it. They make $100 available. And she goes, I guess I'm not staying in a hotel tonight. I thought I was going to stay in a hotel. I thought I wasn't going to be in the shelter anymore. So, of course, I drop her off at the shelter. And as I'm dropping her off at the shelter, they make her take all her clothes off every time she goes in for the night and do all the thing. I'm like, this lady just made this triumphant return to life. And she's here, stripping stark naked. And I'm sitting there thinking, don't give up, don't give up. Don't give up. I know you're going to sleep in the shelter again tonight. Don't give up. Anyway, 40 days later, she owns her own house. Okay? And now, is she a qualified buyer? Hell no. But here's the difference in creative thinking, okay? Here's the difference in creative thinking. Have you guys heard of co-living? Who has not heard of co-living? Raise your hand, please. Please, actually participate. Please raise your hand if you have not heard of co-living. Perfect, thank you. Co-living is taking over the country. It is taking over the country in non-HOA neighborhoods. Why? Co-living is basically taking a single-family home and converting it into a small multifamily building. It's not the type of house we would be happy living in. It's for one individual who probably really busy with their job, rents a room. The main company that does this is called PadSplit, padsplit.com. So people put their houses on PadSplit. This house, I saved this lady from foreclosure, and I turned that house into a PadSplit. It was a 4-bed, 3-bath. I turned it into an 8-bed, 3-bath. And the house with Maddie, the homeless lady, she went and found a deal, sub-2 deal, failed listing. I'm telling you, this is what's so crazy. A licensed real estate agent couldn't solve a problem that a homeless lady on a cot could solve. She was literally, when I picked her up and I dropped her off at her new home, Friday of last week, by the way, this is that fresh. I picked her directly up from the shelter, moved her into her own $500,000 house that has a 3% mortgage she put no money into that was listed by an agent for 6 months prior to that. Okay? So are there problems in this market that real estate agents are not solving? Are there massive opportunities for these agents, by the way, to make commissions, more commissions than you ever have, but also simultaneously wedge into deals with investors like me? Bring us deals, okay? Now, what I did for a lot of people that were in Cabo, anybody that emails me, I will email you directly to somebody. Is everybody from Salem here? You guys are all over the country? Okay, you guys are like Northwest. Okay, give me, well, I've got a couple of really gangster investors right here. I've got Carolina Allen. Are you here? Where's Carolina Allen? Rob Harden. Will you stand up real fast, Carolina and Rob? Okay, Carolina's been with me for 5 years. Rob is one of our leaders here in the Great Northwest. They're both leaders here. These guys have done more creative deals than you could even imagine. The craziest structures that you could imagine. Sellers that were listed with an agent didn't know what to do, agent let the listing go. You have a seller right now that's about to lose their house, right? Okay, and we're gonna talk about it maybe for a minute? Okay, get to know these two people and bring deals to them. If you have listings and you go, I need a higher purchase price, will you explain the creative finance to my seller? Rob or Carolina, will you explain creative finance to their seller so they don't have to learn all of it? Okay. So, what's crazy about co-living is that Maddie got a house and now she has 9 tenants, all paying pad split weekly. The 9 tenants that are in the house, it's a 10-bed, 4-bath house. They're all paying $1,000 a week. Her mortgage is paid, her cleaning's paid, her utilities are paid, her internet's paid, pool guy's paid, landscape's paid, and they have a cleaning person come in every single week, and she nets $2,000 in her pocket every month on top of all of that. She wrote me an email in April. Like, that's how fast you can get into owning real estate, really, really quick. And she went from homeless to homeowner, like literally in a Friday. Okay, so if she can do that, what do you guys think you guys can do in your own businesses? Okay, you can do multifamily. In fact, Desiree, I think you have a multifamily question. So I'll stop here, and we'll structure. Maybe hopefully I can help you structure your deal. But this is a deal I bought a couple of years ago. I would say this is the number one thing I run into is not people in foreclosure. This is a seller that just wants too much freaking money. This guy built this property 35 freaking years ago. If I was a seller that built this 35 years ago, don't you think I would want every last gosh dang penny I could squeeze out of the property? So what does he do to the broker or the agent? Unfairly pushes on them and says, well, if you're not going to list it for this, I'll go through somebody else. That sucks. That's not a fun feeling to be at. Okay? So what she does, or what the broker does, he goes, fine, I guess I'll list it at 20. It's not worth 20. It's worth 17 cash. So it goes down to 19.5, goes down to 19. My team calls and says, hey, we'll give you the 19, but we want seller finance. What do you think the broker says? Why would my seller would never do that. So I called the broker and I said, hey, here's what's going to happen. And I'm going to be a jerk with you because I just don't have time on this deal. This is too good of a deal for me. I will pay the 19.5. I'll pay $500,000 more than the listing right now, but I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. You don't know creative finance. And so you're saying your seller doesn't want to do the deal. I can see on public record he's owned it for 35 years. Your seller needs seller finance. It's not a desire thing. He needs it. Why? Capital gains tax. Guys, the only two things that can get rid of tax are a 1031 exchange or seller finance. If they seller finance over the course of 10 years, we can structure a way for them to avoid all the capital gains tax. And so he goes, okay. And I hear him I can hear him Googling this while I'm talking to him. Some multifamily broker that's been in the business for 15 years, okay? And I said, hey, why don't I just have my CPA talk to your seller CPA? We strike a deal, 19.5. This property, I wish I updated these slides. This property nets me in my pocket every single month. This is money I can buy sushi with, $77,000 a month in my pocket. I put no money into this deal. Why would the seller do that? Because I gave him $2.5 million on paper, more than anybody else was going to give him. I helped him avoid capital gains tax, and I pay him a monthly payment with 4% interest on it. He is the bank. I upgraded him from the landlord to the lender. The highest part of the totem pole is the eagle, my friends. That's why the eagle is on everybody's freaking bank logo. The most powerful person in a real estate transaction is the bank. And so we're upgrading these landlords that don't love being a landlord, and we're taking them to be a lender. Okay? So you can do this in any type of asset class. And the best part is agents bring me these deals and we make money together. Okay, not only if you have something listed, get it listed. I'll pay you a commission, happily pay you a commission. I will do that all day long, and same thing with people all over the country. If you guys are not here local, write me an email and I will connect you with somebody in my community. My email is, if you want it. Does anybody want it? PaceJMorby@me.com. PACEJMORBY@me.com. PaceJ, as in like Jordan. PaceJMorby@me.com, and I will introduce you to somebody in my community that will help you. They'll go on appointments. They'll structure offers. They'll do cash offers. They'll do seller finance offers. They'll take over mortgage payments. They'll do all that kind of stuff. Me. It's like, yeah, it's the only email I get to control myself. Somebody else controls all my other ones. PaceJMorby@me.com. Okay, so Desiree, how much time do I have? 7 minutes? Forever? Okay, are you, okay, so you stopped me in the hallway and you had a great question. I stopped you. I was like, I think everybody should hear this. You want to tell me?
Yes, first of all.
Oh, sorry. The MLS is a local sponsor of this event. It's an amazing piece of software. Okay, thank you. Let me truly explain. I'm not even trying to cover my own butt. I'm letting you guys, the reason why I hammer home on that point is you real estate agents need to know that us non-licensed people know just as much as you do about the information. So when agents come to us and go, well, I have access to MLS, I'm like, great. So you pay 3 times more money. Okay? The MLS is great. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm looking at an apartment building in Oklahoma. It's 16 doors. I have invested in single family residential before, never something this large. I talked to the agent this morning. According to her, the owner is not interested in owner financing. He's only owned it for 3 years. He's put a lot of money into it. He's brought down the price a lot. He's supposedly very motivated, but he still has enough spread on it that he doesn't want to do owner financing.
Okay, cool. So she asked me, how do I structure this? First thing I start thinking of is like, where's the motivation? I'm sure, Rob, you're the same thing. You start going, what's really going on here? You've owned the property for 3 years and you're highly motivated. Why is it losing money? Because if it was making money, you wouldn't be selling it. What is going on? Could be a divorce, could be something else going on. This is also a bad thing with real estate agents. I'm sorry, I'm not an agent, so I will beat them up just a little bit. I ask agents, well, what's going on with the seller? And they act like that's the most offensive question on the planet. Like, how? Oh, it's personal. Yeah, I need to get personal. How do I know if they need a post-possession? How do I know if they need help moving? How do I know if they need a higher purchase price or a down? Like, how do I know unless I know what's going on? So there's something going on here that we won't be able to solve today in this conversation, but your agent might not know either, sadly. But the seller, there's something going on there. The agent saying, my seller's not interested in seller finance, I immediately go, sure he's not. He's lowering his price, which means he's interested in anything that will get this pain to go away. Do we agree with this, guys? Okay, now, the way I would structure this is a structure called Morby Method. Okay, okay, cool. No, you can't just memorize this? Okay, so this is called Morby Method. Morby Method, like 12 years ago, I was like, why are people not doing this? When a seller says I need a really, really big down payment or I'm not interested in seller finance, it's typically because they need a big chunk of cash to roll into something else, they have another problem, there's a divorce, there's something significant going on. This is our community, these bunny ears. The first deal I ever did with Bethany, my mentor, the way I got my deal done is this seller I was talking to, her name was Janie. I realized I couldn't buy her house because she wanted too much money. So I said, well, what else can I help you with? Can I help you move? Can I help you fix any drywall repairs? What can I do for you? And she's like, well, do you know anybody that wants bunnies? I was like, what the hell? What do you mean bunnies? And I go in the backyard. She shows me these bunnies. They're called Flemish bunnies. Bro, they're the size of a 6-year-old child. They are so big. And they won them at a state fair. Her granddaughter won them at a state fair. Okay, so this is why real estate agents, why I need to know what's going on in a situation. So I called my mom. My mom came and picked these bunnies up, took them to somebody in her church, and this lady, Janie, was like, what the freak? You're not going to buy my house, but you're going to like rehome these bunnies? I go, my mom put a sticker on my door. When I walked out the door every day, there's a sticker right above when we walked out. It says, return with honor. And I will do anything I can to make sure I return home to my house today with honor, that I help somebody out, okay? And she starts crying, and I start crying, you know. Anyway, so I left. 2 weeks later, she calls me up, and she goes, hey, Pace, how's it going? I go, I'm just picking my weeds. What are you doing? I was literally out in my yard picking weeds. And I go, how can I help you? Is there anything else I can help you with? How'd it go? Did you sell your house? She goes, I called you to let you know I'm selling my house to you. I didn't even give you a number. You told me you had 165. I couldn't get to 165. I couldn't get there. And she says, I had 15 people meet me before you and 15 people after you, and not one person asked me how they could help me. I trust you. So come and bring your paperwork, whatever we got to do. I actually asked her, I was like, so what do we do? She goes, I guess you bring paperwork up. And I called Bethany. I was like, will you teach me how to fill out a contract? And so Bethany just went with me, and we did the deal. So as I left that appointment, Bethany reminded me, she says, every situation, you got to find the bunnies. Every situation, find the bunnies. What's really going on? What's the deep, dark thing? So on your deal, there's something going on there that I would even bet $1,000 that the agent has no clue. And that's not a bad thing. They're just trained to go put on the market and list the heck out of that thing and market it like crazy, and that is needed. And I think most agents are not doing it as well as our previous speaker today. Unbelievable. She killed that. But they don't understand, well, maybe there's a better solution for you. Is there a tax thing? Is there a such and such? What's going on? Why are you selling the 16 unit you've only owned for 3 years? That's not the original intention of buying the 16 unit. You didn't buy the 16 unit to be 3 years down the road going, I'm hemorrhaging and I'm in a bad situation. I would venture to say, Rob or Carolina, have any guess? I'm going to take a guess. Tell me if you have any different guess. I bet he got a loan, a construction loan, to do renovation on the property. The renovation loan is probably maturing, and he's got a bunch of cash in it, and it's hemorrhaging money like crazy because he's in a construction loan at 14%, and he can't cash flow, and he's like, I can't refinance because it's not stabilized, and there's something going on. He's caught between a rock and a hard place. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. That's probably, you guys have any guesses? Do you think it's probably about right? Probably the same thing. Okay, so what I would do is I would do something called the Morby Method. A Morby Method allows me to go to a lender. Okay, I use a lender called Marcus & Millichap for big stuff like this, like 16 unit. If you guys want my contact at Marcus & Millichap, his name's Jamie. I'll give it to you. Just email me. But what Marcus & Millichap will do is they'll give me 70% of the purchase. Desiree, what's the purchase price? For 16 units? Bro, we should all move away from Salem, right? Like, holy crap. Isn't that crazy? $795,000 for 16 freaking units? Can we call him? Can I call her? Can I call her right now? I don't want to kill your deal, but I'd love to call him. Can you? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Should we just call him and figure it out? Oh, man, Oklahoma. Are we all moving to Oklahoma now? Is that what's going on? Okay. By the way, my favorite part about this, our previous speaker today, beautiful pink dress. She is so freaking awesome, right? One of my favorite things she said was like, I've just done so many reps. Like, she loves the business. Same thing with me. Like, you have a problem, just get me on the phone. I need to be on the phone. I love this business so much. Let's call her. Nikki? I don't know how to use these things. There we go. Desiree, right? Should I try and get a listing? Okay, so while I talk for like the next 5 minutes, let's see if we can text her and be like, hey, say I have my partner here with me. We had a quick question about a potential offer. Okay, so what I would do is what I would offer her is I'd say, hey, Nikki, that's her name, right, Nikki? I'd say, hey, Nikki, my name is Pace. I lend on a lot of Desiree's deals. I would back Desiree as her partner. Okay, this is kind of the cool thing of working with a real estate investor, is I would just say, yeah, I fund a lot of Desiree's deals. This deal caught my eye. I'm wondering, your seller is not interested in seller finance. Totally get that. But what if I gave him 70% of the money of the purchase price? Would he be willing to carry the other 30%? Okay, so think about this. $800,000. I go to a lender. The lender gives me $600. And I have the seller carry the other $200. I can be into that deal for no money out of my pocket? Okay, so why aren't we all doing that on every single deal that sellers want too big of a down payment? It's out of your comfort zone. So the best thing to do is partner with somebody like me, right, for your first couple of deals. Get people in my community that you can latch onto and go, hey, will you call my seller? Let's structure it. It doesn't even have to be your listing. Call any long days on market. You guys want to own a portfolio? I am the key to that. Not me personally, but like people I know in every one of you guys' markets would do the same thing. We'd get on the phone right there and go, I want that six. Doesn't everybody want a 16 unit for $795,000? Hell yeah. Yeah, that's the right answer right there. Hell yeah. Heaven, yes. Sorry. So we do have teenagers in here. So that is exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many of those opportunities. Then when you're driving around, keep thinking about listings. Keep thinking about building your actual listing business. I love that. That's your active business. Go double down on that. But what gives you confidence is, has anybody been in really tough financial situations? You make bad decisions? I have. A lot of our sellers do, right? And so when your money is right and you're getting good on your listings and you're doing a great job on your listings, you can go out and start building your portfolio to a point where you're like, I don't have to worry about money anymore. Literally, after like 2 of those deals, you'd never worry about a paycheck ever again in your life. Now, guess what you get to do? You get to pick which clients you want to. Oh my gosh, you know what's so great is if a listing agent goes in and goes, you know what, Mr. Seller, I understand there's other listing agents willing to list this at a higher price. I respect you too much to do that, so I think you should go that direction with those people. And having the confidence to walk out of there going, I don't need that crap. Guess what that is? Greatest negotiating strategy on the planet is having the confidence to say that because you have a portfolio that allows you to do that. Guess what that seller's going to say? You know what? All right. Well, I'm going to go with them. They're my cousin. Just kidding. So I could talk all day long. I love this business. I'm obsessed with it. I love helping people. I love getting a helper's high, just like Brent and Randy do. You get this injection of just butterflies every time somebody has an epiphany or a breakthrough. Does anybody have a question for me before I wrap up for the day? Okay, cool. Okay, sweet. Y'all are throwing these up like high fives, like you're freaking pumped up. What's your name?
Kenzie.
Kenzie, what up?
What's up? I have a question for your sub-2 offers. What happens if the property has quite a few liens on it?
So give me an example of a couple of liens, like mechanics liens.
All right, I have a client who's trying to sell his house. It's an expired listing. I took it as a listing, and he has a lien from the HOA for $20,000. He has a lien from his ex-wife for $650,000. It's like an alimony he stopped paying. And then he also has a lien. There was a third lien on it. I'm now trying to remember what it was. He's going into foreclosure in December 18th of this year. We decided to take it off the market because he's going to rent it out and at least make some money off of it. We received 8 sub-2 offers while it was listed. So I know that this property has a lot going on. The investors knew more than I did because I was just on the MLS. They were on their apps. I'm not in this MLS. You can talk. These sub-2 offers would come in and I would say, well, there's all these liens. What would you do as the buyer?
A couple of things I would do. Oh, this is great. What a great question. Okay, so did everybody understand Kenzie's question? Okay. You don't run into a lot of like multiple liens like that, especially like child support liens. This child support lien sounds like it's fresh. I've negotiated like $500,000 child support liens down for like $1,000. But like that's, you got to go years and years before the woman is like, fine, this deadbeat's never going to pay me. I'll take $1,000. And that's not your client situation, right? So this is kind of a more fresh thing that's been going on in his life. So a couple of things. Number one, I take over houses sub 2, even with other liens. I have an IRS lien on a house I own that's a $7 million IRS lien. I took it over sub 2. Why would I do that? I don't know. Now, it's such I'm telling you, it is literally a unicorn deal. It's the only deal I've done that way. I knew there's no loss there because the seller's like, I have a $7 million lien, take the keys, close escrow. I don't even give me $1. I was like, there's no risk. You have a $2,000 mortgage, I could rent it for $4,000. I'll continue to cash flow. And so right now I'm actually kind of gambling. I'm like, what can the IRS do? Can you tell I'm not an operator? I'm like a visionary. I will. Okay. And by the way, my COO is like, okay. My COO is like, let's do it. Let's see what happens. IRS liens have to re-up every 7 years. And so I'm like, all right, let's see what happens, right? Worst case scenario, best case scenario, the property appreciates over 7 years. IRS doesn't renew the lien. I go sell the property at 1031. Oh my gosh, I made a bunch of money. Worst case scenario, IRS comes in and goes, we're taking the house over. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I cash flowed for 3 years, $2,000, right? In this situation, I would probably do the same thing. I'd come to you and go, hey, my seller, if you say the seller doesn't want to lease out the property, I would go, let me do it on a lease option. I wouldn't buy it sub 2. I would buy it on a lease option. So I would lease it from your client. I'd pay your commissions, by the way. I'd get your commissions paid. Sounds like they were my students because we do not get agents out of the way. We love agents. So pay your commissions even on a lease option, but why wouldn't I want to do a sub 2? I wouldn't want to do a sub 2 because it notifies the HOA. It also notifies the child support. It lets everybody know what's going on because we have a deed transfer. On a lease option, guess what we don't have? There's no deed transfer. There's nothing on public record showing that I'm the lease. I have an option on this property. There's nothing showing publicly. So I can lease it. Now, what I would do, depending on my potential cash flow on the property, is it in an HOA? Yeah. Okay, that sucks.
And the mortgage is $2,700 a month, so it doesn't have a ton of cash flow. It can only rent for maybe $6,000.
The problem with co-living is we don't like co-living in HOAs. And if I'm in an HOA, I don't want somebody co-living in my neighborhood. I gotta respect the thing. So
How do you handle if you're doing a lease option and it's going to go into foreclosure in 6 months?
you'd catch up the arrears, yeah. The investor would come in. So like when I say I'm no money out of pocket, what I mean by that is I actually bring in a private money lender that pays your commission, closing costs, any arrears, HOA. So they'd come in and be my partner on the deal. I brought the deal, they brought the money. So who's that avatar? That avatar is usually a 9-to-5 person that makes a couple $100,000 a year. They have a self-directed IRA. They'd have no idea where to put their money because they're busy with their 9-to-5. They just put their money in our deals. Does that make sense? So I'm in the deal, no money out of pocket. Your commissions are paid. Your seller's arrears are caught up. Closing costs are cheaper because we're not doing a full deed transfer. And we would catch up the HOA, but we would not pay off the child support. And so they could do a lease option, but the lease option, if I can only rent it out for $3,000 a month, I'd have to look at the deal and say, like, what's the future appreciation? What's the interest rate? What's his interest rate? Do you know? Okay, so he doesn't have a great interest rate. Yes. You could do a midterm rental. I hate midterm rental. You could do that. Oh, he already tried that. He tried midterm rental or sober?
Sober living and foster.
Okay, sober and he didn't like it? What? The management?
It hasn't gone fully through. Like that was his backup plan.
Okay, if I were him, I would probably go that route. Or what I would do for you as a client, or you as the agent, I would go find a sober living company to sublease it to for like $4,000 a month and make a little bit more money. I don't like sober living. I used to own 4 of them where I was the operator. And I was like, this is a nightmare. People are dying in the middle of the night. There's knife fights and all that kind of stuff. And I'm getting the calls. It's like, oh, I'm making $800 more because I'm direct. It's my house. So now what I do is I still own the house, but I lease it to a sober living facility, and they don't call me. They just pay me inflated rent. That's probably what I would do. What city is this in? Oh, okay. I have the solution to your problem. I don't have my phone on me. Oh, yeah, it's Landon, yeah.
Oh, he's the one who had a problem.
Oh, yeah,
He's the one who tried to buy it and then backed away from it.
Is this Nikki?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Nikki. I fund a lot of Desiree's deals. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm hanging out with her in Salem today. We're at a real estate conference. She bumps into me. She's like, hey, I got a tricky deal. Would you mind like looking at the numbers on this? I go, yes. So you guys, and if I'm wrong on this, correct me where I'm wrong. So you guys have a 16-plex. I think you guys are currently listed in the like 700,000 range. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what I told her is I said, why doesn't he just do seller finance? She says, well, the seller's not interested in seller finance. I'm like, okay. But what if we brought like 70% down payment? Would the seller carry the other 30%? We get the commissions paid, we pay for closing costs, and we bring 70% down payment. So he clears his underlying loan, gets a big chunk of cash. And would he be willing to carry some of that loan, maybe like $150,000 of that $700,000 purchase price?
I will ask him. I don't think he will, but I will certainly run it by him and let him decide.
What's going on? Does he have like a construction loan that's eating him alive? What's his stress?
He wants as much money as he can to reinvest in.
Okay, but why didn't he just keep the 16 unit? Did it not work out what he thought?
He wants to sell it and reinvest in another area. We're talking like 30 units.
Got it. So he's trying to 1031 into another deal.
Correct.
Okay. And if he continues to lower the price, can we just continue to follow up even if the answer is currently no? Hello? Oh, you're there.
I don't know.
You cut out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's actually mentioned just when a listing expires to just hold it for a while and relist in a year or so.
Okay, got it.
But,
So here's my suggestion. I think what I should do is I should submit an offer that shows that I can put 70% down payment and then ask him to carry the other remaining 30% and give him the number that he wants, right? Because I think what happens is if he's not going to get the number he needs, he's going to keep lowering the price until the listing goes expired, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to lower anymore, but yeah.
Okay, got it. And I think you guys recently dropped it like 50K?
Yeah, a few months back.
Okay, and he's not going to lower it anymore. He's just going to let it go to expired?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, here's what it sounds like we should do. Yeah, I'm here. It sounds like what we should do is get him the price that he's currently listed at, get your commissions paid, put 70% down, and ask him to carry the other 30%. How much time do you have on your listing?
I'm not sure, actually. Hang on. Honey, guys, these copies are everywhere. Sorry, I just got home.
Can we tell she's not an EXP agent? Oh, I forgot to mute. Sorry. Do you have enough time on it, or are you like coming up against your expired deadline like in a couple weeks?
It seems like we listed in March, so April, May, June, July. Well, it should be longer than that. Maybe it was May.
Okay, so you got like a month or two.
Yeah, not very long.
Okay, what do you need from me to equip you? Would it be good if I talk to him after I submit the offer?
I'll just run it by him, see if it's even an option.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I can text her my email too if you want it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Have her text it over to her, and then we'll put an offer together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, bye. Okay, so what do we learn? What do we learn in these situations, guys? Well, here's a couple of things. She's distracted. She doesn't even know, doesn't know his motivation at all. Oh, he just wants to reinvest. If he was desperate to get the right number, she's not in this listing. She doesn't understand real estate, and that's a scary thing. So she takes the listing because that's what you do. She says he wants to reinvest the money and sell it. Cool. But if he doesn't sell it, he's just going to keep it. Wait, what? Yeah, she's not in it. It's Saturday. How dare you? She's got her kids with her, so I respect that, and I love that. My kids are squawking all the time. I'm on the phone call, so nothing wrong with that. But I don't think she truly understands what's going on with the listing. So what's going on in my mind right now is this. I'm going to submit an offer only so that we can call the seller back up in 60 days and go, what did you not like about our offer? She's either not going to play ball or she'll finally play ball. Here's the thing. A really good real estate agent will go, heck yeah, Let's get on the phone call with my seller. I want to provide all options and show him your credibility. Let's see if this is a good thing. Right? Pretty simple. So most people go, man, that sucks. We're not going to get anywhere. No, you're going to get a better deal because guess what you're not going to have to pay? Commissions. I'd like to pay commissions. Why do I want to pay commissions? Because I want to enlist her in the army to find us another deal. But she doesn't seem like the agent that we want to go collaborate with for the future, right? So I learned how to use an Android today. This is great. Hey, by the way, give it up for Desiree. So, Kenzie, Landon Moore's great. He just opened up a sober living facility right there. And I think here's what I think the next step is for you, and I'll jump right here. If it was me and I was an agent, dude, you have all the energy of the sun, just so you know. Is this your boyfriend? Dude, how do you handle this? Congrats, dog. You got a freaking... If we could all just get a drop of your blood to get some of your energy, oh my gosh, you're awesome. What I would do, because you're in it, you are freaking in it. You're going to kill it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for your future. If you called up sober living facilities there locally and go, hey, I'm an agent, I have a house.
Well, so I already did that.
Of course she did. Meanwhile, you have this other listing agent doesn't even know what her seller wants.
I can connect a renter to rent it for sober living.
Okay, cool.
The owner is a little unsure about the person I connected him with.
Everybody in sober living is a little bit... Because the people that are best at sober living are the people that have gone through sober living. All my best operators are the people that have been through it, but I just make sure they've been in business a long time. You're doing the right thing.
Okay. So you maybe wouldn't buy this stuff too.
Okay, so a couple things I don't like about it. I don't like that it's an HOA. I don't like that he has a 5.5% interest rate loan. I don't like that he has a $600,000 situation. So what I would do if I were you, if I was an agent in your situation, is I would say, I'm a little bit weird, so I would do weird stuff. I would actually say, can I manage the sober living? I'll find somebody, and I would actually arbitrage it. And I would do what I would call a sandwich lease option. I'd lease it from him, and I'd lease it to them, and I'd make $300 or $400 a month myself. Because now you don't have to list the property and sell it and get your commission. I would wedge myself into that deal and make sure I got paid. Because if you don't sell it, you're not going to get paid. Make sense? Sandwich lease option. That's what I would do. Okay. Boom.
Haven't seen you since Cabo. That was fun. So good. So my team is back there trying to figure out 8 ways to utilize you in your group, so we're super excited. So between 2 questions, really quick. What is your target interest rate to purchase sub-2s? So, whatever that rate is that you'll say, okay, I love these. What is your target interest rate that you generally are okay to pay when you're doing a seller carry? And then between apartment complex, mobile home parks, multifamily, sober living, senior care, when you're building your portfolio and you're me or whatever, what do you like and why?
Great question. Okay, so I did sober living. I've done assisted living, and I hate them from my personality because I love people too much. And when I hear the stories, I need a layer between me. The empathy overflows and I want to go to the house and all that kind of stuff, and then that's not a scalable business. So I want you to remember a very important phrase. It is highest and best use. So I don't determine what the house does. The house determines what the house does. So what Kenzie and I decided here is okay, well, the house has got all these things going on. It's not that I wouldn't do anything with that interest rate. It's just that I wouldn't immediately think that needs to go into my portfolio. Okay, however, do we agree that there's probably families that wish they could own that house on a rent-to-own program that would be happy with the 5.5% rate right now? Okay, so the situation with the house will change the exit strategy, not me and what I want, if that makes sense. So the house, you have to look at a house and go, what's the highest and best use for this house? Sometimes it's finding an end buyer that's going to move into the house, and I get a finder's fee type of thing. Sometimes it's putting in my portfolio. The interest rate is really not that important. However, when you're at my level or Rob's level or Carolina's level, we see so many 2% and 3% deals that when we see a 4% deal or a 5%, meanwhile, somebody brand new to the game is it's not 6.5%. Okay, so I'm a little bit spoiled. So I think interest rate is perfectly fine even at 5.5%. To answer it, I would say If I can get the same rate at a bank, you're not doing me any favors. So it needs to, I'd probably say 5.5, which is about an interest or 1 to 1.5% lower than I can get at the bank. That's where I'm going to win. 5.5 or lower as the investor keeping it. That's my rate I want to stay underneath when I want to put in my portfolio. Now, how I want to build my portfolio if I were you, you're building a badass team. And you should continue to be an agent. You should never get rid of that, right? What you should be doing is saying, I want to build a portfolio on the side that does not want to take my time. Sober living is going to take your time. Assisted living is going to take your time. That's another business. What I like is I like multifamily, anything over 50 units. I don't like 16 units, Desiree. I'm so sorry. I don't like it because a 50 unit, I can have somebody living at the property managing on site, whereas there's not enough cash flow on a 16 unit. So 50 unit multifamily. Also, RV parks are by far the least amount of management I've ever had on an asset, ever. RV or mobile? Mobile homes are very different. Mobile homes and RVs. RVs are recreational. Guess what I don't have? I don't have landlord issues. So I would do an RV park in California, whereas I would not do a mobile home park in California. Because now I have tenants in California. California sucks, guys, sorry. We're not in California, right? Salem's like different. You guys have really good landlord laws here, right? Sorry. Oregon sucks too. Okay, so, but if I'm doing RV parks and I want to, where are you located?
Oregon, Washington.
Okay, cool. So I would, if I were you, I would stay away from trying to build a single family portfolio. One, I think you're beyond that. Yeah, you're beyond that. You've graduated. Like, cool. You are good. Don't do any more. In fact, don't ever put another single family in your portfolio. You're done. You graduated elementary. It's time for go to junior high. So what I would do is I would go into RV parks. Unbelievable. I would talk to Wendy. She's finding them. Go ask Wendy. Hey, Wendy, how are you finding your RV parks? Wendy, raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, so I think RV parks are awesome, and what I would do is I would find an investor like me that would partner with you on them because they're going to want some down payments. Okay, RV park people, they're retiring, and they're going to go, one I just recently did, $5 million, the seller's like, give me 3% down. So he wanted $150,000 on a $5 million purchase. That's all he wanted. These guys don't need money. They're retired guys. And in fact, the more money I give them down, guess what that gives them? A tax problem. Right? So the larger down payment, and they know that after I explain it to them. But if you're like, I don't want to put 150 grand down, then bring those deals to people like me, and I'll wedge you in on your first 2 or 3 until you get to a point where you can go do them on your own. I would say RV parks are probably the best, just so you can keep building your team and not have to worry about any management on some assets, if that makes sense. Did we have fun today, guys? Okay. Randy and Brent Gove, thank you guys. We love you.